How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much. I always appreciate you. Happy holidays. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. I've been under the weather recently, finally feeling a little better now, so I'm ready to talk about some classics with you guys, like this one right here from 1962, a psychological thriller from director Robert Aldrich, who made some classic movies like Kiss Me Deadly, The Dirty Dozen, The Flight of the Phoenix, The Longest Yard, the original that is. But right now I'm talking about Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, based on the 1960 book from Henry Farrell. This is the story of two sisters played by two legends of the silver screen. You have Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. These two actresses were more than just a couple of pretty faces that could also act. When they got started in the golden age of Hollywood, a lot of actresses were cast to be window dressing in a lot of films or just the eye candy, but they were able to transcend that and broke ground and were real trailblazers, playing independent, strong female characters, paving the way for generations to follow. They both became big stars in the 1930s. They maybe even competed for some of the same roles, and so they were definitely aware of each other. So throughout the years, there was this showbiz rivalry that kind of developed throughout both their careers. So fate would have it someday that one day they would both work together. Honestly, though, after I heard about this supposed hatred that these two actresses had towards each other, it made watching the movie a more interesting experience, especially when you consider that they're two actresses that really hate each other's guts in real life, and they're playing two sisters that in the film are at odds with each other throughout the whole story. At the very beginning of the film, we meet these two characters when they're children. We see that they are part of a showbiz family. The dad seems to really be pushing them into show business. You got baby Jane Hudson, that's supposed to be Betty Davis's character, and they make dolls of her because she is like a sensation. She sings and dances and stuff. When baby Jane Hudson is on the stage, we see her family, her mom and dad, standing in the wings watching, along with her sister Blanche, who looks a bit jealous and you can tell wants to get into show business. And then it kind of flashes forward to when they grow up, and now she is a successful actress, and her sister, baby Jane Hudson, is now on the decline in her career. And so one sister kind of rises, the other one falls a bit, and then you see some executives talking about their careers, and we get a couple of clips from actual early films of both actresses, and then we get a scene that involves a car, a gate, and both characters. At that moment, we get our title sequence, and then flash forward to the early 1960s, where we see the two sisters are now middle aged, living together, and Blanche is in a wheelchair, completely dependent on her sister Jane. Betty Davis's character Jane is completely bitter, resentful, and full of hatred towards her sister Blanche and the success that she had before her accident. And they've been showing her old movies on TV, and there's a neighbor that comes around and says how much she loves the movies and brings flowers for Jane to give to Blanche, but of course Blanche never gets them. It doesn't help anything that Jane is an alcoholic and constantly boozing it up and neglecting her sister to the point where her sister Blanche begins to starve to death, literally. And at one point, there's even a scene where she's on the floor out of her chair, and her sister Jane is kicking her, just kind of beating the shit out of her. Apparently, in real life, when they shot this scene, there was some real kicking going on. Like, they say that Joan Crawford actually got kicked in the head by Betty Davis. And so, yeah, some pretty crazy shit. Also, in the film, there is a housekeeper that comes around every now and then to look after Blanche and makes sure that everything's okay with her, because she is aware of how cruel Jane can be to Blanche. Because on purpose, Jane will send the housekeeper away just so that she's free to neglect Blanche. And so, yeah, it's really messed up. It really does become a living nightmare for Blanche, to the point where she is basically a prisoner in her own home. And when her sister Jane leaves, she does her best to try and get word out to the outside world that she is being held captive, by trying to write a note and throw it out the window for the neighbor to see. And so, yeah, she is afraid for her life. And baby Jane Hudson, the character that Betty Davis plays, this character is scary. I gotta say, I think she is one of the great cinema villains of the golden age of Hollywood. The directing in the film is to the point, thoughtful, and smart. The script is taut and suspenseful. The performances are memorable and legendary. Betty Davis is scary as hell as the character of baby Jane Hudson. The makeup alone, this look of this trying to look younger than she really is for her age kind of look. Very freaking creepy. The look of the character is definitely the stuff that nightmares are made of. When you take that makeup combined with those Betty Davis eyes that she has already, it just really intensifies anytime that she has those eyes all bugged out and all wild-eyed. It's just, yeah, man, it's freaky. At the time of this movie's release, both actresses were well past their prime since they were big stars of the 30s and 40s, and this came out in the early 1960s, but they had great careers, legendary filmographies. Jezebel, The Little Foxes, All About Eve are just some of Betty Davis's classics. And Joan Crawford was in classics like Mildred Pierce. She was also in Sudden Fear and Johnny Guitar. Both true legends of Hollywood, both great actresses, and both definitely worth checking out in this film from 1962. This is a 4-star classic. I highly recommend. If you enjoy a good psychological thriller, check this movie out. It never disappoints. It's a great film. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? Also, if you're a Batman 1966 fan, look out for King Tut, a young Victor Buono in a role, pretty important role actually, but yeah, great film. Check it out. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications on more reviews coming out very soon. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for your support and your views. I always appreciate it. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. It always helps. And I'll see you guys on the next classic movie review. Everybody take care of each other. Till next time, God bless and peace out.